power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution. Join me, Naima Latif, every morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, as we bring you stimulating discussions about the issues affecting our lives. If you're listening online at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution, press the blue button that says follow and get our daily topics every morning directly to your email and your smartphone. Hi, I'm Naima Latif, executive producer of the Female Solution radio show. We invite you to call in 515-605-9325 and participate in this daily think tank as we examine the challenges we face and develop solutions that restore peace and harmony. We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China, Ni Hao. In India, Namaste. In Japan, Konnichiwa. In Korea, Annyeonghaseyo. In Russia, Здравствуйте. In Germany, Guten Tag. In Poland, Dzień dobry. In France, Bonjour. In Spain, Hola. In Italy, Ciao. In Egypt, Ahlan wa sahlan. In Ghana, Akwaba. In Nigeria, Peleo. In South Africa, Sawubona. In Senegal, Nangade. In Kenya, Jambo. In Israel, Shalom. In Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Saudi Arabia, Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, and may peace be upon you all.
Oops.
Hi, I'm Naima Latif. Join me in my...
What if you could live to be 120 years old and remain active, healthy, alert, and vibrant? Our bodies are made up of cells that are constantly rejuvenating. So if we take proper care of ourselves, we can literally defy aging. Join us every Tuesday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time to learn about self-care from Suson Essentials on the Female Solution Blog Talk Radio Show. Learn how to help your body and your cells feel rejuvenated each day through proper nutrition, sleep, frequency medicine, and many unconventional methods of self-care. I'm Jodi Suson. Join me and my amazing guests by calling in at 515-605-9325 and press 1 to speak. We'll help you achieve a breakthrough in your health today.
Well, welcome everybody to Suson Essential Self-Care, hosted by the Female Solution and my amazing executive director, Naima Latif. And today we will be bringing on Tammara Lachey from Beyond Me Too, who has a similar journey to mine. And I'm actually, one of the things I like to do on the show every time is share why I do this show, because people don't really care what you do unless they know why you do it. Of course, I stole that from Simon Sinek, right? So I have a commitment, a mission to share real health with the world. And I do that because of my own personal health journey, which I will show you right here. Let's see if I can do that. Yep. And I was over-medicated and put on almost, 20 different medications and nearly died in 2013. So I went from being a bodybuilder, which, by the way, I was a fat, skinny person, just so you know. And once I got misdiagnosed and put on all these medications, I became obese, and I had so many different conditions. I don't know that there's not anybody on the planet who doesn't at least have one of them, and reclaimed my health using plants and energy. And so the power of plant-based healing is so dramatic that, like, you can see the images. Um, I want to share this with the world so everybody else can have health too. So without further ado, so let me tell you a little bit about Tammara, and then I'm going to let her share why she's here and her mission. And her mission, I think, is fairly similar because she went from grief to relief, and that's so important. She also lost weight, but that's really not really. I don't think that's really the issue, right? Because I think Tamara is going to talk to you. It's really about our mindset and what we think that we're up for, and what happens to us when we have adversity come our way. It's not what happens to you, people. It's how you react or respond when it does happen to you. So without further ado, welcome.
Good morning.
How are you, Sunshine?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm good. I am good. Having a good morning, and can't complain because no one would listen anyway. So, so tell us what spurred your journey, because there was a lot of things happening, for you, if I recall our conversation, because we met at the Atlanta Expo, right?
Yes, you did. Yes.
And you had angels.
I did. Life size, real angels with huge angel wings.
Yeah. So
that's where the logo comes in with the logo.
Yeah, and it's Beyond Me Too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is the name of the company, which is just amazing. Let me let you tell your story. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the name of what I would call the business or the ministry is My Beautiful Life Beyond Me Too, and I was just living my life, actually. I was an international show producer and choreographer, traveling the world, singing and dancing and choreographing shows and just having a ball. And
so I'm actually going to stop you for a moment. This is just really interesting. So I apologize.
No,
send me a grace card. But every time I'm about to have a pivotal conversation, which is what you're about to do here. I'm sitting right in front of a very large window, and there's bushes there, and a red cardinal comes in.
I wonder who it is.
Yeah, and so there he is, because it's
the male, yeah.
Male. So there he is again. So I just was pausing us because I needed to wanted to give acknowledgement to this bird that keeps on showing up. So if you have a bird showing up in your life, which I have two in the other room, or any animal, right?
Well, the red cardinal actually represents it's a musical bird.
Yes, it is.
And it represents, it's a male.
Mm-hmm.
And it does represent angels and angel spirits and loved ones that come and visit us through the birds.
Oh yeah, and it goes even deeper, right?
Yeah, so, I had a really interesting experience with that several times.
Go ahead. Yeah, tell me.
The cardinal experience?
Yeah, why not? I mean, this happened.
Well, the very first time that the birds showed up, and I'll tell you my story, and then those birds showed up, but I didn't know anything about it. And then a minister that I was close to in my life passed away, and it broke my heart because he was one of the kindest. Isn't it always? He was one of the kindest people. He had this gift to hear music, and he would write music. He wrote for Aretha Franklin. Well, I can say his name. His name was Minister Reverend, actually, before he passed away, Reverend Pastor Richard Johnson. And
He
he
wrote
played for
for
Aretha
Aretha
Franklin.
Franklin.
He played for
You know, she's like
many.
my favorite artist, like of all time, other than Elton John. Seriously.
Yeah, he
Yes.
played for many famous people, but also he was a pivotal part of the body of Christ because he wrote so much music that you would hear on the radio as a worship song and not even know that he was the one that wrote it because another artist is performing it. But nevertheless,
Well,
when he
so
had-
here in the Christian meaning, the Christian context, the bird is the blood of Jesus, and cardinals are used as symbols of vitality, and you know, and that vitality is everlasting. So it has a biblical meaning for sure.
right. So when he passed away, the next night I was sleeping and I woke up in the middle of the night and I knew I had to write what I was hearing. So I wrote a poem. And many times when people pass away in my life, God will give me a poem and it'll be a message. And so I wrote this poem, but for some reason, I got up and went into my closet to write the poem. You know, it's in the middle of the night in the morning. You know, I don't know. I just went to my closet. So I didn't realize that I left a little crack in my window.
Okay.
And in my, because there was a window in my walk-in closet, there's a little window and this there. So I'm on my knees and I'm writing and I'm writing. And you know how you just feel like somebody's watching you? So I didn't turn my head. I just kind of did like this. There it sat, the red cardinal. It's on my windowsill. He goes, and I was like, I said, oh my goodness, are you gonna let me take a picture of you? And I looked and it just looked and stared at me. We had a moment. And then when I tried to bring my camera up, he just kind of flew away. So I was like, what is that? What bird is that? I didn't know it was a red cardinal. I thought it was a red robin or something, but robins are blue. Nevertheless. So I looked the bird up and there it was. And I looked up the spiritual meaning and the physical meaning about that bird. And the pastor that passed away was male.
Okay.
He was a musician. It represents. He was a father. It represented fathers. Everything musically and spiritually about that bird was him. And I'm writing a poem about him. And I said, you know what? I never, birds would come when my other family members passed away, but I never paid that much attention until that red cardinal came. And ever since then, when I have people or family members who are going through that stage of death and grief, they'll say, oh, birds came and blah, blah, blah. I was like, what kind was it? What did it look like? Look it up, that kind of thing.
Well,
so I never really interested in birds until that moment.
Yeah, and my mom was seeing fairies. Like she was seeing fairies and angels when she was passing.
Really?
Well, my mom was bright light. I mean, my mom was an angel actually on Earth. So,
Earth Angel.
Yeah, Earth Angel. That's exactly.
There was a song back in the maybe 50s, 60s.
Yeah. I know.
Earth Angel.
Yeah, Earth Angels. No,
my dad used to sing that song.
So did my mom.
Yeah, he was born in 1935, so that was his era.
Yeah, my mom was born in 38 and my dad was born in 28. So
wow.
Yeah.
My story. Thank you, angels, for showing up. Giving us a sign to the beautiful cardinal. I love it. So my story is that I was traveling the world, international show producer, choreographer, and my nephew, who was 24 years old, passed away. Suddenly. Natural causes. 24? Okay.
Wow.
They kept him out for 2 weeks to figure out what it was, and they couldn't find anything. So natural causes. 8 months later, my oldest brother, which was his father, passed away. Wow. Heartbroken grief. Cancer came out of remission because his son died. He passed away. 7 months later, my father dies.
Wow.
And I just realized the other night it was 3 generations: my nephew, my brother, my father. My father passes away. He had dementia, but he had hit his head and couldn't tell us that he hit his head. So he had a brain bleed. He passed away. In the same season, I was drugged and raped. Now, I could deal with the grief of losing my family members, because I was already a degree counselor at that time. But it was being drugged and raped that threw me for a loop, because I was
Oh,
being
yeah. I
ghosted.
mean, you're
Apparently, this person had the television on, and so I was being ghosted by TV commercials. I was being ghosted by coming in and out of consciousness while this act was happening.
Oh,
And
God. Okay.
yeah, and it was a very, very deep, sent me to a very deep and dark place. So
Yeah.
as I was going through this, I started looking up where I could get help, and I knew about the Me Too movement. So I looked it up, but on that website, there were women. They were so sad. They were so sad. And I was like, you know what? I can't stay right there. I have to get
Hold on.
beyond that.
We don't want to miss what you just said. You just cut out. You said the women.
The women on that website were so sad and they were
Yeah.
depressed. And I said, well, I can't stay there. I have to get beyond that. Therefore, we have Beyond Me Too.
Got it.
Also in that season, one of my mother's best friends passed away. They had the same name. Her name was Mary Moore. And she made me promise, because I did my mother's makeup and hair when she passed away, that I would do hers as well. So when her daughter told me the backstory of the last moments of her mother's life, one thing that she said to her that stuck out to me, she said, tell your father that he gave me a beautiful life. And I said, wow, I want that. I want to, when I leave and pass over, I want to be able to say, I had a beautiful life. And so my beautiful life adventures Beyond Me Too was the original logo and statement of the ministry. And then I have the angels here, and as you can see, you have the adult angel, female, that's helping
the
child angel, the younger woman, because we need to make that connection where we're being that generational connection to help each other and to help those who are behind us to get to the next level.
All day.
Yep, that's what the angel is about.
And I think that people and bear with me as I say this, I think that people underestimate stress that accompanies death. And when you have death, because my parents passed within an 18-month period, and you saw the pictures. I was obese kid, right? 234 pounds. I'm having panic attacks, I don't know how many times a day. And when you couple death with a significant incident, which for you is, rape, and for me, it was an incident that had been going on for 20 years, being over medicated, coupled with the death. Ours was just
right.
The body can only take so much. And so we have to support each other. We have to be mindful and, really understand how important it is to take care of our health from the get-go, because you never know what the universe is going to throw your way. So your body, your mind needs to be kind of a suit of armor covered in feathers.
Well,
right?
The human nature kind of kicks in as well, because before my nephew passed away, 12 years before that, my mother passed away. And when my nephew passed away, God clearly said to me, you've got to let your mom go. If you don't let your mom go, you're not going to make it. I couldn't go to the funeral home to see my nephew's body. I couldn't do it. I couldn't. When we went to the funeral, I waited outside until they closed the casket. I could not see him dead. I just didn't. I couldn't do it. And God said, if you don't, let your mom go, you don't have room for this grief with your nephew. And I was crying. I fell to the floor. I was like, I'm still trying to hear her voice. I want to remember her. If I let her go, then I'm not going to remember. And then finally, I just said, okay, I let her go. And I heard her laugh. I heard at that moment, I heard her laughing. And
Say
then
what?
at that moment, I heard her laughing, and I heard her
Uh-huh.
walking through the house telling jokes. And now I'm crying and laughing at the same time. And I was like, God, what is this? And he said, you were holding on to the grief of losing her, not her good memory. You were holding on to that, the loss of her. That's why
Right.
you didn't have room to deal with the loss of your nephew. But now that you've let her go, everything that she's placed in you, she's a part of you. So that can flow freely. The happy thoughts can flow freely. So I say to a lot of clients and a lot of people, even the people who are listening, if you're experiencing loss of a loved one, we just come out of COVID, just come out of a place where people have had a lot of grief because people lost multiple family members
Oh,
at the same time.
and
If
it's
you're
still
in that
coming.
space, you may be thinking that you're holding on to your loved one, but you may be holding on to the grief of losing them. And when you do that, healing can't get in. You got to let the healing begin, and you can't let it in if you're holding on to them. But if you release them, it actually gives God the opportunity to come in and heal your heart so that you can continue on with your life, because if you are still here, there is more here for you to do.
Agreed. So it's imprint of grief, like on the heart chakra, right? And if we don't clear that energetically, and everyone has their own way, um, we're like you said, we are blocking the goodness from coming in. So we have someone on YouTube. She says, Mrs. America's VW. She says, "Good morning, everyone."
Good morning.
And she says, "I lost my mom January 2019 from a seizure, and my dad February 2020 from a stroke. We're 50. I hear you, and I feel you." Yeah, I lost my parents 18 months apart. She says, "I'm trying to heal now. I was the only child."
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I
I
see.
hear you. So what I'm going to say to Mrs. America's VW is that you are the only blood child, and we actually create our own family, and they do not need to be blood family. So if you don't already have your tribe, people who resonate with you, this is the time to find your tribe. And this is the time to really also get to know your feelings, right? Know you. If you didn't know you before, this is the time to know you. Because once we understand ourselves and we can accept ourselves and love ourselves and embrace ourselves with the good and the bad, it's a much easier place to be.
Mm-hmm.
Do you
And
want
when
to
you,
add?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I want to say, please add.
And,
Yeah.
and when you initially go through what you've gone through, like you're in the stages right now where it's fresh, like it still happened, like it happened yesterday for both of them. And you have to give yourself the room to grieve, and it's okay to cry. Cry on purpose. Don't hold it in. Let it out. Um, I know that you're experiencing feelings of grief and sometimes depression, sometimes great loneliness, because you were an only child. But I want to encourage you to let you know that you have the power to simply let the healing begin. God is there with you. He's there with you. And the way, because most times I remember when I was growing up in church, and they would say, "Have faith," and I was 12 years old, like, how? Just have it. No. So when you say to someone, that's my logo here, let the healing begin. When you say to someone to let the healing begin, it's important to understand what it means to let the healing begin. And grammatically speaking, when we say let, if I tell you to let the healing begin. The you is implied. You have the power. You let the healing begin. So what does it mean to let? It means, that word means to not prevent or forbid, but to allow. So if it is your desire to let, this means that you must be in a posture to not prevent your own healing process. And sometimes that can come by allowing yourself to stay in that place of depression. Well, how do I get myself out of that place of depression? On purpose, planning things to do. You know that Saturday is coming. Is there a festival in the area? Do you like music? Surround yourself with people and things that are going to keep you forward moving, so that you on purpose don't get stuck in that slump. Sometimes, self-sabotage shows up. It shows up because it's like, I'm just feeling bad, and these voices are saying, you're by yourself, and who do you trust? You have a question that you would ask your father or ask your mother, and then the self-sabotage comes in to undermine your success. That's what sabotage means, to undermine your success, or in this sense, your own freedom. It undermines it. Despite your own wishes and dreams or values or desires to even be free from the heaviness or the hurt, that self-sabotage comes in. And the root of sabotage comes from fear. And that grief, that grief brings fear. It brings low self-esteem, corruption from past conditioning.
Everyone loves spreadsheet.
In our society, we're taught that, if they die, it's gotta be this deep grieving thing where you wail forever. But there are ways, and this is what I teach the people in my programs, there are ways and things that you can do to keep your forward momentum going. Because the one thing that's sure, your mother and your father would want you to continue your life and live it to the greatest. And this is my last thing. When my mother passed away, I was 30 years old. This year, I looked at the obituary and read what I wrote. I was 30. I wasn't ready. I said it in the obituary. I said, I'm not ready.
No one's
and
ever.
I wasn't. But the thing that came to me after that was, you are ready. Everything that you have that she's placed in you, everything that you have that your father has placed in you, is what is going to give you the strength and fuel you to continue on. You can do this.
So I want to say 3 things. So Mrs. America's VW, first of all, thank you very much for tuning in. We had some interruptions in the show for a minute, because I'm going to show you something. And you can hear it, and I'm going to show it to you. And we have to go to commercial break in 2 minutes, but I want to show you this. So this is 528 hertz deep healing sleep music, repairs and heals on a DNA level. You can literally change your DNA by listening to the right music. Oh, did I just lose? I just lost this. There we go. By listening to the right music. This is the frequency of love, 528. And a lot of people are not aware of the frequency of love. So that's one thing that you can do to support yourself in your own healing process. Secondly, I want to share. So I hope you're still taking notes, and I'm grateful that you were. So it's 528 hertz deep healing sleep music. Now this is free. It's on YouTube. And there's so many different variations that you can choose from. Okay. So that's number 1. Number 2, I'm going to show you, and this is really inexpensive to get. There are 3 specific essential oils, and you said that you're angry. So COVID has created a lot of anger for a lot of people I'm certified in essential oils, and not even if I wasn't certified, it doesn't matter. It works. This is an essential oil. It's called Forgive. And you roll it in the palm of your hand and you breathe in. Okay. So you go like this, you rub your palms, you breathe in, and it gets into your limbic system, which controls your emotions, in 20 seconds. So the anger that you feel will dissipate just that quickly. And if that's not good enough, Console essential oil. Okay. Again, same thing. Rub it in the palm of your hand. Rub your hands together and breathe in. Yeah, it is amazing. The last oil that there's really two. And the other one is Peace. Or no, that's not Peace. That's Breathe. That's great if you can't breathe. But there's another one called Peace. And then the fourth one is Cheer. Cheer smells like cookies. So if you like cookies and you also want health, okay, again, rub in the palm of your hand. Okay, that's really, really good.
Yeah.
So the science behind this is that the plants that they used, one relieves the grief that you have. It goes into the limbic system and relieves the grief to give you calm. This other one, Forgive, releases the anger. We know that there's a chemical reaction between the brain and these plants. And then the third is Peace. And then the fourth is Cheer. Now, a lot of times you don't need Cheer, because once you've done the other three, you're pretty much good to go. But we like Cheer. So enjoy the Cheer. So two things I have, we are going to go to commercial. And then we're also going to invite our executive producer, Naima Latif. And
Susan, do we have one moment for me to just make a quick comment about the anger?
Sure. Yeah.
She talked about the science of the anger and how to get there, and I agree. The stimulations physically can really help shift you. Remember, we talked about shifting, but then also there is the mental and the spiritual aspect of it. And as a man thinketh, so is he. Your anger is justified anger. It's okay to be mad. It's okay. I want to tell you this. It's okay to be mad at God because he can handle your anger. It's when you try to pretend like you're not angry that it builds up on the inside, and you don't want that to turn into bitterness. And the third thing is this: be angry, but sin not, because your life is still a gift. It's still a gift, and you can still honor your mother and your father and God through whatever it is that he's going to birth out of your grief. And you will one day be in this from this place of grief to a place of relief.
So spot on. I mean, really spot on. I really want to focus on what the last part. So, Mrs. America's VW, your experience today is going to lead someone else, just like my experience and Tammara's experience. So, so she says, "I'm about to cry. You hit it on the nail. Thank you." I think that was for you.
Yes, and let it flow. I'm telling you, let it flow. You listen. One thing I tell some of my clients, because they've been bottling that anger up for a long time. Yours is fresh and new. So while it's still fresh and new, go to the park, park your car, or if nobody's in the park, you can go outside, scream and yell and tell him just how you feel. He can handle it. Just get it out. And when you get all of that anger out, and some people use profanity. I mean, I told him off because I was very upset. And when I got done, the tears and the snot is flowing. All I felt was the presence of God just right there, because he will take those tears. He takes the ashes and turn them into beauty, right? He catches every tear because he knows the pain and grief that you're in right now. He's literally experienced it through the life of Jesus. And this is what he's here to help you with. Specifically you. You showed up here today. This is specifically for you. He is here today for you to get this, because he wants it to be a rapid grief, a rapid from grief to relief, a rapid healing. It can take 2 minutes, 2 months, 2 years, 20 years. Some women get stuck 20 years, 25 years.
We are
But it doesn't
because 5 minutes
It doesn't
after
have
the
to.
half hour. So we'll come right back to this.
Oh, okay.
Hi, I'm Jodi Suson with Suson Essentials. I started Suson Essentials in 2015 because of a personal health journey. I was over-medicated and put on 19 different medications. And yes, I reversed all my chronic diseases using plant and energy-based healing. It was amazing. At Suson Essentials, we support both consumers and businesses, and we do that with helping your employees or yourself with a food as medicine mindset. How Suson Essentials supports businesses and consumers is we teach people about a food as medicine mindset. So we support people on how to support their own immune system, how to support their brain health, how to support their emotional well-being. And we do that all with plant and an energy-based healing.
Crime in Chicago continues to increase. Community and politicians must come together to make a change. No one person can solve these problems by themselves, but I believe together we can make progress. Let's provide job training, economic growth, and invest into our 77 communities. Let's rebuild and restore Chicago. Vote for me for mayor of Chicago. I'm Dr. Willie Wilson, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Willie Wilson for mayor.
Welcome to Quick Click, where customers can buy, share, and earn. Meet Sam. Sam owns an e-commerce business that sells athletic shoes and running gear. Sam wants to increase her sales without increasing marketing spend, so she decides to list her products on Quick Click. On Quick Click, her loyal customers can get paid for sharing her products with their friends. Sam uploads her products to the marketplace, just like she would on Amazon or Shopify. Meet Laura. Laura is in the market for a new pair of shoes and comes across Sam's brand on the Quick Click marketplace. Laura is able to purchase the shoes and check out like she would on any other e-commerce site. After purchasing, Laura receives a unique Quick Link that she can share with friends to begin earning Quick Cash. Her friend Jessica opens Laura's Quick Link on her phone and purchases the pair of shoes. Because Jessica purchases using Laura's Quick Link, Laura receives Quick Cash in her account. After purchasing, Jessica can now share her own Quick Link and begin earning Quick Cash as well. But Quick Click is more than just your typical referral or affiliate platform. Quick Click rewards customers for sales they directly and indirectly influence. So, for every sale Jessica's new Quick Link makes, Laura will earn additional Quick Cash as well, making the potential for earning exponential. Laura and Jessica can transfer their Quick Cash balance to their bank account at any time, or can even use Quick Cash to make additional purchases in the app. Meanwhile, Sam can just watch as the sales roll in. Best of all, she doesn't have to worry about costs, since she is only spending marketing dollars when actual purchases are made. Start buying, sharing, and earning today at QuickClick.com.
So we are back, and we have our executive producer, Naima Latif. Meet Tammara Lachey.
Good morning.
Grand Rising. Pleased to meet you, and
Nice to meet you too.
I'm so appreciative of you sharing your story. You know, it's interesting because last week Jodi and her guest, another intuitive psychic, I decided to mention a situation I had. I didn't say anything about my feelings. I just mentioned a situation, and Jodi and her guests felt my deep grief that I had been in over a personal situation that has lingered a while. Because grief is a vibration, it's a very low vibration.
It is.
And it affects your health and your sense of well-being. And part of the grief sometimes is also anger, anger at the person, grieving over what happened, grieving over what may have been done or said. But a realization came to me this morning that people aren't born with the intention to hurt you, but things happen to them that hurt them. And you can only give what you have inside of you. So if you're giving pain, it's because you've been given pain.
Right.
And I thought about what Michelangelo said. He'd have these big blocks of rock and he would carve out angels. And people say, how did you do this? This is amazing.
Yeah.
He said, well, the angel was always there. I just had to remove everything that wasn't the angel.
Wow.
And so if we are able to look at people and remove everything from them that isn't the loving spirit of God that we all are before we are hurt by the different events in our lives, if we can see them in their purest state, their state of love that they were created, instead of all of the hurtful things that they have reflected because of what's happened to them,
Right.
then we can forgive.
Yes.
Because we can realize that what they did was as a result of what they experienced, but that's not who they really are.
Right. Right. And forgiveness is a very, very important part. I always share that if you don't forgive them, you will become like them. Because hurt people hurt people.
Absolutely.
They hurt you because they were hurting. And then when they hurt you, you got to make a choice. I've got to forgive and I've got to let the healing begin so that I can get a complete healing. Because if I don't, then it's going to come up again. That trauma will go with us to the boardroom. It will go with us to the classroom. It will go with us to the family reunion, the family meeting. It'll show up when you're talking to your husband, your boyfriend, your best friend, the grocery clerk. How about the waiter at the restaurant? Did nothing. And they get it all the time, because hurt people hurt people.
Right.
If you don't forgive,
then
you become
just pass it on. And that's what's happened. That's what happened to the person who hurt us.
Yes.
Someone hurt them.
Yes.
And the person who hurt them, someone hurt them.
Yes.
So if we're going to transform the world, it does first start with yourself.
It does. Now let's turn the corner with that. We turned the corner with that. I like what you said, and you said that you got the revelation this morning that, these people, that's not really who they are. And I love the analogy with him carving out the pieces that were not the angel, because the angel is there and it's there. When we're in that place of grief, sometimes we have unforgiveness towards ourselves. How can I let myself get in that situation? Why didn't I see the signs? Oh my goodness, what did I do? And sometimes it's silent, and then we start feeling unworthy of being happy again at all. So then it becomes a self-abusive situation where we refuse to forgive ourselves, because if I had just done, if I knew it,
you would have known better. Why did I let this happen to me?
I wanted the love. I knew it, but I wanted the attention. I knew it, but I was afraid to say something. I knew it, but I thought I deserved it. For whatever reason it is, you have to know that angel is also on the inside of you.
Yes.
And if you didn't know that before the trauma happened, then you got to carve out. You got to carve out those
pieces. It's not the angel
that are not like you. They're not like you. You're not mean. The angry black woman syndrome, and I like to say the angry woman period, because we have black angry women, Indian angry women, we have white angry women. Because we've been through a lot as women.
And we're told we're expected to swallow it, like you were saying earlier about not letting it out. So we're expected to just swallow it. Someone hurts us, we're supposed to keep a smile on our face, be strong. But it does. But the anger, the hurt, it doesn't go anywhere. It goes inside. And I heard a saying once that depression is anger turned inward.
It is. Yeah. And we've normalized it as well.
And
we've
so
normalized it.
Well, and here's the thing. I want to go back to what Naima was saying, that something happened to that person, right? Which then they turn and they do it to the next person.
Mm-hmm.
So number one, it takes conscious thought and it takes training to pause and not pass it along.
Yes.
Okay. Which I teach that. But here I want to share a story, and I don't know that I've ever shared this on the show.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, new. Not new to me, but new to the show. So I had an older brother, Stephen, who was a chiropractor, and he passed a couple of years ago. And he had a brain tumor that he had gotten back in 1997. He was given a year to live. He lived for 23, longest living survivor of a brain tumor at Northwestern Memorial Hospital, as much as we know. And he did that because of nutrition. But why am I telling you this?
Yeah, that's very important.
The brain tumor was very slow growth. And he used to beat me up and put me in the hospital and use my head as a bongo drum.
Oh, no.
Not just me, the whole family. Now, his soul wanted to heal. That's why he became a chiropractor. Isn't that a dichotomy? So if you take a look at this, that what happened was he has this slow growth tumor in his brain that's impacting his emotions. And the true self is not being displayed. The true self of my beautiful brother was a healer. So we don't walk in someone else's shoes. And so we really, and I mean really, need to get out of our own victim mentality. We don't know what's going on. And that's hard to do that when you've got, someone's fingerprints at your neck.
Yes, yes, it is. It is.
Yeah. So I don't want to say, you're being strangled, you've got imprints of their fingers on your neck, and just pop out and say, well, I'll throw them a grace card. Doesn't happen that way. But what I want to share with you as you go on your journey and as you peel the onion and you heal, know that there's something going on with that person. It's not an easy life, but it is a life filled with lessons and hopefully filled with joy.
I got a question. So was your brother all the time that you all were growing up, was that tumor a part of his brain? Was that what was affecting his behavior?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
I'm fairly certain as an intuitive, as a medical intuitive. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
I agree with you 100% on both topics that you brought up. You brought up the healing through nutrition, because we are what we eat, and a lot of foods can really support depression, and a lot of foods can support happiness. So it is important what you put in your body as you're going through your healing process. And the second thing that I agree with you about is that sometimes you don't have it inside of you directly to forgive that person because the offense is so fresh.
Oh, yeah.
It's so brand new. And so it would take a while for you to forgive your brother. So we're not asking those who are listening to just say, because I tried this.
I know, right?
Okay, I tried to say, okay, well, I forgive them, and move on, but it kept coming back. Because it's like having a scar on your hand and say, okay, I know this is going to heal. It's healed. I'm going to go ahead and take the better example is this. You have a broken leg. You go to the doctor. He takes the cast off. And you want to go run a marathon. No, just because he takes the cast off and the bone has mended, you still need to go to physical therapy. you still need to strengthen the muscles around that bone so that we can be sure that the injury does not happen again. That's about being aware of what has just happened to you.
Wow.
Spiritually speaking.
I
My
with
point,
people,
spiritually speaking.
their physical healing, PT, I use frequency medicine. I get people back into the gym in weeks, and there's no striations on the bone, and that you can't even see that they had a break on the X-ray. So, hey, you know, I'm about creating a new reality, and we have evidence-based.
And yes, and you have to. Yeah. Because again, as a man thinketh, so is he. If when you see yourself in that next place of healing, then that's the direction you're gonna go. If you see yourself over here, you keep saying, "Well, I can't, I just can't, I don't know," then you're not gonna be able to can, and you will not know.
So if I were gonna make an analogy on what you said, Jodi, about what you use in terms of energy healing for the physical body, and what Tammara, let me make sure I'm pronouncing it right.
Tammara, it's right.
And what Tammara is saying about forgiveness and the fact that you're not ready yet until you heal. Prayer, that conversation, that connection to the divine is that energy healing that speeds up the process.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. My next point was spiritually speaking. So spiritually. Oh, I think you were frozen, Susan.
Oh, sorry. So I said all flipping day long. I said all day long.
Yes.
So because the frequencies that we use are doing three things. One, grounding you with the Schumann resonance, which is the Earth's resonance. Number two, the frequency is getting rid of toxicity in your body, that toxic waste. The third thing it's doing is increasing your absorption of your nutrients. And then the fourth, I said it's 4. And the fourth thing is microcirculation, increasing microcirculation, I think by 30 or 37%. One's for nutrition is 30 or 37. I never remember which is which, but we get the picture, right? And when your blood is flowing, right, and you're getting rid of toxicity and you're being, how else can you be but healthy?
Right. So now, Tammara, you were about to say something spiritually speaking, and I bet you've got the same revelation I got. So go ahead, what you're going to say.
Spiritually and mentally, I'll tap on the mentally, and then I want to
the analogy here. Yeah.
Right. So mentally speaking, just to tap into what you were just saying there, mentally speaking, when I was going through the PTSD, the post-traumatic stress of what I had gone through, I was, like I said, I was being ghosted by different things in my life. I was being triggered by different things in my life. So it was difficult to get to that place of bringing my energy back up because I was in such a place of depression. I had to tell myself to get out of the bed.
Those are the toxins in your spirit.
Other women. I said, how am I supposed to help other women? I can't even help myself.
Right.
But one thing I knew to do, spiritually speaking, it was New Year's, and I knew that I wanted to start my New Year off with a positive energy. So I made sure that although I was so depressed that I could barely breathe, my bottom was sitting in a church on New Year's Eve because I needed the energy. I needed that positive energy from my Creator. I needed worship around me. That energy that worship creates. Yes. I needed that around me. So in that moment, and I'm gonna share this really briefly. In that moment, I don't even know who this pastor was. I promise y'all, he was a guest pastor. I don't know who he was, but it was a mega church. I'm sitting there and I'm literally like this. Now I'm a worshiper. I'm normally, I'm right in it, but I'm like this. I had nothing to give, nothing, and I was wrestling with why can't I forgive this man that raped me? Why can't I forgive my family members that I felt like wasn't there for me? Why can't I forgive? You know what? I'm just not gonna do it. You want me to do it? You're gonna have to show me something. That was my attitude towards God. You're gonna have to show me something. So I'm sitting there and everybody's worshiping around me and I'm just enjoying the energy of the presence of God, but I have nothing to give. And that man stood up there and he said, oftentimes people are in a deep state of depression. He said, and can you imagine Jesus on the cross? He's dying on the cross. And all the people that he's helped throughout his life, some of them are there. And when he was in Pilate's court, they said, give us Barabbas. Barabbas was guilty. Jesus was innocent. But they said, give us Barabbas. How about he's on the cross and he can see the people that he fed with the 5 loaves and the 2 fish. He can see the man, he healed his daughter. And he's out there saying, yeah, kill him. You know, it's like, what's going on here? And in that moment, in his nakedness, which was not permissive as it is now in our day and time, that was the greatest level of shame. In his nakedness, he's there. And he says, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. He said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. He said, Father, the you implied. You forgive them. He didn't say, Father, I forgive them, for they know not what they do. He didn't have it in his humanity, because he had to stay in his humanity, because you know he could have just stepped out and said, angels, take care of these fools. He could have just, I'm done, and called it down, but he didn't. He stayed in that human in our position, in humanity, and he said, Father, you forgive them, for they know not what they do. And when that man said that night, I stood up, had been sitting down for 2 hours. I stood up, I said, Father, you forgive them. You forgive him, because he don't know. He don't know what he did. I said, but he got the right one. And if you bring me out of this, I promise you, I'll help everybody that I can. I'll snatch everybody I can back from the darkness, because he didn't know what he was doing, but God knew. And everything that works for the good of those who are called according to his purpose. It worked in my favor. It made me stronger than I thought I could ever be. It did. But going back to what Jodi said, so Susan said,
Jodi,
the predator or the person who did it, they still need healing too. I'm not mad at them. It's not my calling to help them in that manner. Not yet. But they need healing. They need forgiveness, and they need to forgive whoever got them to the place of being hurt. But always remember, if you don't have it in yourself to forgive someone, ask God to do it. Father, you forgive them, for they know not what they do. And he'll hold you there until you get to the place where you can do it too.
That's powerful.
Well, yeah. And so, and the thing is, so that we're inclusive, practicing inclusivity, if you don't, I follow Jesus, but not everybody does. And so, your higher power, right? Whoever that is for you, give it to God, right? Give it to Source, give it to Buddha, give it, like the list goes on, because I try not to assume that everybody practices the same as me, but it's important to give energy that you don't understand, that you cannot process. Give it to someone else. Give it to. Right. So you brought up PTSD, and very, very real, right? And I want to share 2 things. And I showed this to you, remember, at the show, this device. And we are bringing this to so many places right now to help like veterans with post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yeah.
And it's simple. It's sound frequency. It puts the brain in a safe state. So rest and digest, right? And there are different frequencies. It allows you to take whatever negative energy you have to joy, like a joy knob, right? And there's lots of videos on my website, on my YouTube channel, that show how to use this. If you have questions, you can call me. And actually, shame on me, I don't have our call-in number going on the bottom. Wow. First time I've ever done that. Here we go. So if you want to call in with questions, It's 515-605-9325. We're going to go to commercial in a minute. And, but know that, there are so many tools to help you get to Rome. And look, there's a lot of doctors that I work with, holistic practitioners that say, oh, well, you could just do it on your own. I can tell you, if you were as much of a hot mess that I was when I first started, on your own is not an option. I tried to meditate and literally fell asleep in a group of like 20 people snoring.
You probably needed that rest. Yeah, your body was shutting down for you.
Yeah. But the point is that there's so many different ways to get to where you go. And yeah, now I can go into a meditative state and I don't need the bod. I use the bod to reverse allergies, though, to handle my traumas, my triggers, and all of that. And I don't need the bod to get into a meditative state, but if I get triggered, man, not pretty.
So it really reconditioned your brain waves to not go to the traumatic place, but to go to the place of peace. And for people that don't understand because I experienced your device.
Yeah.
For people that don't really understand your device, and they might be thinking, "Oh, what's that? What's that going? What's that?" If you think of, okay, I'll give two simple examples. If you think of, you're just driving down the street and a song from the 80s come on, Michael Jackson song, you say, ooh, and you remember that party you were at, you just feeling good. If somebody called you like, hey, what's going on, girl? I'm listening to Michael Jackson. And it shifts your mood.
Yeah.
That's what the bod does.
Oh, that's a fantastic analogy.
Yeah.
It brings you back into the energy of joy.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're a person that listens to country music or to God, because I think country music is hilarious. The stories that they tell is hilarious. I know. Or gospel music or worship music. And there are certain songs that just really take you to a place in your spirit. Those songs have some of the frequencies that she has on that bod. They're played in the same frequency. Musicians will tell you when you're in a worship service at church and they go dum dum, and then the whole service shifts. It shifts on that music. That's why they use music in the service to shift your mood, so that your heart is open, so you can receive the word. And that's all she does. Is she's receiving the positive energy of the space that she wants to be in when she's meditating on the positive words of I am happy. I am happy. I am the action and momentum in the word I am. God said, I am the great I am. There's power in those two words. I am happy. I am. You can literally sit in front of the mirror and say, I am happy. I am loved. I am loving. I am being loved. And love surrounds me. I am happy. Everything is working out for me. Every little single thing is working out for me. And it'll bring a smile to your face, because what you're speaking, you're creating the next moment in your life. And then you'll realize that you had a great day because you were in a positive situation. Have you ever left home, stumped your toe, couldn't find your keys? Then you got in the car, you slammed the door, you have your dress hanging out the door, so you get to work, the bottom of your dress dirty, and you go to the bathroom and try to clean that up. But when you walk out, you got tissue on the bottom of your shoe. So then when you get around the corner, there's your client. Then
you were looking at with a telescope in my life the other day.
Affirmations are important. Because listen, affirmations, meditate on the word therein day and night. It's the same thing. You're just taking those positive words. You're taking the word of God and you're meditating on it. You're taking those positive words. You're meditating on it.
Sound is an energy frequency. Yes.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing is, sometimes we've been in trauma for so long. Sometimes we've been in trauma for so long, we normalize it. We think it's normal.
Oh, right?
To be in pain.
Don't know the difference.
Yes.
And that's what the bod will do. You will then experience within 10 minutes or 20 minutes, and I can do this virtually, by the way. I can help people with the bod virtually. In 10 minutes, you will feel a difference. And so if you've not experienced calm, and you wouldn't know that, by the way, until you've done this, okay? Some people have lived their whole life in a state of anxiety, chronic stress, pain, whatever. I mean, I was in pain since I was in grade school or whatever. So, so until you experience this, you actually don't know different. So you don't even know what to strive for.
You know, when we come back from the break, I want to ask about how you help somebody who maybe has never experienced peace or calm or love. How do you help them if they don't have a memory of what that feels like? I know we got to go.
They don't have a memory of. They don't know what it is.
We'll go to commercial real quick. I have a few to run, so don't leave us, everybody. Please stay tuned. Here we go. Here's the first one.
Our kids are the future and should not be left behind. One person should not decide what is the best for our 77 communities. Politicians must work together for our kids' best interests. They deserve a safe education with resources that meet every student need. Let's rebuild and restore Chicago. Vote for me for mayor of Chicago. I'm Dr. Willie Wilson, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Willie Wilson for mayor.
Suson Essentials leads you to wellness by giving you access to more than 20,000 sustainably produced nutritional products delivered direct to your door.
The Female Solution Global Radio TV Show invites you to an invigorating conversation with our team of hosts Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. Start your week with Monday Morning Mindfulness with Zelda Speaks. Tuesdays, Self-Cell Care with Jodi Suson. Wednesdays, Repairing Broken Families with Naima Latif and co-host Kareem Hamid. Thursdays, Soulful Solutions with Dr. Debbie Green. And Fridays, Health and Wellbeing with Beata. Saturdays, tune in 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central Time. First Saturday, Success Strategies with Jana. Second Saturday, Wendy Williams Esquire on relationships. Third Saturday, Move Around with Deborah. And fourth Saturday, Wisdom with Mama D. Join us Sundays, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time for Soul Purpose Healing with Beata. Call in and comment 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak to the host and be a part of the solution.
So I'm going to show one other, it's not really a commercial, but I think it's really going to be impactful. It's a minute and a half. And what I'm going to show you is what this does about the bod, getting rid of your hot buttons.
Riverside. And soon the entire episode will be available to watch on Spotify.
Listen. This is actually the current version of it, the bod. For bioacoustical utilization device. Well, Frank went on and on about all the things that he was seeing the bod do in his clinical use for it. He had developed it specifically for ADD, but he said this thing can help people with depression and anxiety and overeating and addictions. And he went on and on and on. I kind of rolled my eyes and said, okay, that's a lot to swallow. I was really pretty skeptical. Well, he showed me how to use it and he gave me one. He said, take it home and use it and tell me what you think later. So I did. I packed it away and took it home. Didn't think too much about it for a few weeks. And then at one point I was having some emotional reactivity in my marriage, hot buttons getting pushed. I thought, let me give this thing a try. So I sat down and I tuned it in like he had instructed me, and simply focused on the issue and generating those feelings for about 10 minutes, turned it off, the feelings were gone. I thought, this is really peculiar. I said, did he give me a post-hypnotic suggestion or whatever? So then throughout the next couple of days, those hot buttons continue to be pushed. And every time they did, I sat and I waited for that reaction to come, and it just didn't come. And I thought, this is very peculiar. It's like, what happened here? So then I started thinking there maybe is something to it, even though my logical mind said, how can sound affect the brain, in such a profound way? So then I enlisted my family, and then I enlisted my friends over the coming months to try it out, because we all have some kinds of issues that we just like to get rid of, whether it's nightly cravings or chronic pain. And one after the other, I kept getting reports that this thing is working. And they were just as surprised as I was. And so after about 6 months, and I had been testing this thing intensely, and I really have a great big basket of things to test it on. I had a very dysfunctional childhood, lots of emotional things that I've learned to regulate over the years, but they're still there. And now, one by one, I was sitting down with the bod, and they were just kind of like falling away. And I thought, this is like the most amazing thing ever. So I thought, I'm going to take this out and I'm going to sort of share this with therapists, because I've never heard of anything like it.
Starting an online store is easier than you think. Let me show you how to quickly open one with Shopify. First.
Okay, so that was it. That was a quick clip. So, those are both doctors. I think one's a psychologist or psychiatrist, the other one's neuroscience. I forget his exact title. But when you can get rid of your hot buttons, and by the way, I've been using mine since 2014. I'm still getting rid of hot buttons because I had new ones that I had to address. That's why I have a vision for a bod in every home, right? Because there's no end to better. Naima, I know you're biting at the bit, so go for it. What do you want to say?
I was speaking to a woman, and we'll probably have her on one of our shows in the near future, who works with the foster care system.
Mm-hmm.
And there are children whose lives have been horrible since the moment of birth. Just abusive, neglect, suffering, traumatized, a whole life of trauma. And she was saying one of the difficulties is that they've been so traumatized. Of course, their behavior is going to reflect all the hurt that's been given to them.
Right.
And so when foster families take them in, when family takes them in, of course, their behavior is outrageous, and people aren't expecting to see them act out according to the damage that's happened to them. It's like, well, they should be grateful they're in this nice home, but they've been damaged.
Right.
And so, of course, this is a healing mechanism and can give you that inner peace. But how does it help a person who maybe have never experienced what peace feels like? If the trauma they've lived has become a normal way of life, always angry, always ready to hit, always defensive, because you're always feeling like you're under attack. So you don't know.
So neuroplasticity.
To feel calm, to be at peace.
The answer is neuroplasticity, right? And that's what this is. It's neuroplasticity in a box. So let's say
it's like repairing the neurons in your brain that have, because your brain makes connections early on when you have experiences. So it almost like, would they have to rewire their neural network because they've been conditioned for
and that's what this does. And it's only $520 door to door, which makes it crazy inexpensive. So let's say, let's say the brain goes from A to B, from B to C, from C to D, but B's been damaged, so it has to go around to get to C. So the goal is to go from A to C. You have to go through B, but you can't go through B because there's damage, right? Rules call it an interference. Mm-hmm. So when you're dealing with that trauma, it removes the interference. We'll call B the interference, okay? Mm-hmm. And now A can go through B to get to C.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it works so well with food sensitivities. Like I reversed 165 and Andrew reversed 135 food sensitivities. Here comes my husband now with my angels. Hi,
hello.
Oh, she's shaking with excitement. She says, it's Auntie Naima. I'm so
Hi, Pegula. Hi, Tinkerbell.
Thank you, honey.
I love bird energy.
Well, you know, and they're angels.
Yes.
They are my angels. I swear to you, they are the ear. You are the ear that I breathe. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. They are the ear that I breathe. And both of these girls have used the pod. Because Fagla and Tinkerbell both could not fly.
And traumatized.
They were traumatized. Tinkerbell, and she just flew. Tinkerbell couldn't perch on a shoulder and certainly couldn't fly. She was put in somebody's basement because she was squawking in a dark basement.
Oh no!
With the
Like
lights.
put a child in the basement for crying.
Right.
Yeah. And so it's so important that we handle our traumas, right? And if you have pets, you can handle their traumas, right? Because you're responsible for your pets, just saying. Because they're there to support you. They are taking things on for you. So, like, you know, I ran frequencies on them this morning. First thing I get up, run a frequency for them, you know, so that they have joy.
So you know, that's the thing about joy, and joy is a healing frequency, and it's so fascinating. And Tammara was talking about the sound of music and what it creates and setting that mood, and you can hear that song. I mean, I was in like a real low mood about a week ago, and I put on some of my favorite dance music, and I'm lifting me out of that.
Now, as far as animals are concerned, this actually happened to me. A neighbor was moving. I was living in a townhome, and a neighbor was moving, and they took everything, and they didn't have room for the 3 dogs.
Oh.
So, which was okay to leave them in the garage while they moved that night. They moved stuff. They came back the next morning. So it was like they left maybe 11 o'clock at night. They came back the next morning, and they left a little crack in the garage. But I don't know if maybe it wasn't okay. But anyway, the dogs were traumatized. They
thought their mom and dad left them.
They thought they were left.
Yeah.
They were, one was just crying. The other one was just barking. And then the big one, bark. The little one, beep. And then the other one just crying. You know how they can cry.
Yeah.
So I couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
And then it was breaking my heart because then all of them started crying because the big one and the little one realized they're not coming back. They thought they're not coming back. So I said, Lord, what in the world? He said, put on some music. I put on it was either Boys to Men or Casey and JoJo.
I love Boys to Men.
Literally, I was half asleep, hit the button because I don't even listen to R&B like that. But it was late at night, and it was one of those love radio stations, you know, slow jams, you know, and they were singing about love, and you know, it was really late. And so I stuck the speaker in the window, and I listened, and they were woo 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 woo.
It's healing,
and they were able to rest. That happened for real. Yeah, it works for animals. I just
make me want to cry.
My neighbor upstairs works evenings, and so you know he leaves I think around 11 p.m. And so you know by that time the dog is barking. So we make sure we put on the frequency of 528 music, and I mean, not all the time, but most of the time we do. And, you know, eventually they feel the vibration up there. Even if they can't hear the music, they feel the vibration.
Yeah. And their hearing is stronger than ours too. It's sensitive. Now, as far as the foster kids, I used to work in an emergency shelter for children. The foster care system. And what you say, it is real. They come, they experience so much trauma that you wouldn't. I could tell you stories that will make your head spin off. But for them, I think something like that would be really good for them to experience. Because I did use music to help them with their favorite music to, uplift them, or gave them some instrumental music that would help them to sleep so that their minds will slow down. Because what's happening is there's so much going on here. It's the fear is
traumatic
I
memory.
want to go home for Christmas. Your dad just beat you to a pulp because you were trying to stop him from raping your sister. But all the sister and the brother want to do is go home for Christmas because they're kids. See, they're kids. So when you ask the question now, I want to say Naomi, but that's
Naima.
When you ask the question of what is it that you can do, the music and the bod, it does work, but there are some inner things that you can do as well. And part of it is it's a choice. It's a hard choice, but you have to choose you by saying, I'm going to allow the healing to begin. And the way that I'm going to allow it is three ways. The word allow. To allow means to give permission to give permission for, and to permit. To give permission to yourself to receive the healing, to see it, to hear it, to smell it, to feel it. To give permission for the healing to come. So you got to receive it. To give permission for it to come, for God to move on your behalf, and for God to be the truth, and every man and everything else that is not like him to be a lie. That means those voices that come and say, well, nobody's going to love you after they know you've been raped. No man's going to want you. No man's going to want you. You had a baby out of wedlock. You got all these kids. Nobody's going to want you. What? You lost your mind. You had to go to a mental facility for 6 months. Nobody's going to want you.
Yeah,
you got all this trauma. You can't even control your own emotions. Nobody's going to want you.
Yeah, cancel, right?
Yes, and cancel culture. All your friends canceled you because you passed gas in class.
Wow.
You know what I mean? She's
energy of people not accepting people for who they are.
Exactly.
Right? Like cancel that.
And then permit is the third one. Permit is to permit. The word to permit is a verb. It's an action. That means you must be ready to take action for you. Above all else, regardless of who else may be offended, you have been there for everybody else. Y'all know that part? You've been there for everybody else during their grief. Now it's your time for them to be there for you, and nobody's there. And you've been carrying Uncle Tim, Uncle Jack, Uncle Bobo's secret because your mother's brother touched you. You've been carrying that trauma for too long. It's time for you to choose you and to walk in freedom. And sometimes when you say, well, what about people that have never known happiness? How can they get to a place of happiness if they've never known happiness? Because they started being touched by granddaddy when they were 2. So they've never known what it is to have a healing touch from a man.
Wow.
They've never known, and they don't know what it is to go inside and know that the very essence of yourself that was poured into you in the very creation of your soul has something that will bring life unto you. It's already on the inside of you, but you have to choose you. You've chosen to make sure don't nobody, you can't tell on granddaddy because that's your brother granddaddy. Everybody love granddaddy. You can't, am I gonna say, listen,
they'll love him and hate me for saying it.
And they do.
Wow.
So you have to choose you, because if nobody else will, you have to choose you. I wrote a poem
that
called
comes with self-love, self-confidence, self-esteem, and using mantras and surrounding yourself with the right people so you don't have negativity coming into your energy field.
And I say that to say
how do you keep yourself energetically protected when you have negative energy coming your way? You're in a meeting, someone's saying something that's causing your physical body, your emotional body to be in an upset. How do you keep yourself energetically protected?
And that's where the action comes in. The action is, it may be using the bot. The action may be using the bot and using the power of music. The action may be that, but the action may also be choosing to give yourself permission for one time in your life to actually experience the happiness. Sometimes it feels more comfortable to be in trauma than it feels to be normal, because you don't know what normal is. It feels foreign to be happy. This lady said to me, she said, I didn't know I could feel this way. And you can see on my YouTube channel, her testimony is there. And in the testimony, I say to her, I say, look at yourself. And she looks at herself and she's like, I said, you're smiling. This is not the woman who got on the phone with me in the beginning on the Zoom. I didn't know I could feel happy like this.
Wow.
She didn't know. She had never felt that before in her life.
Yeah. So, yeah. So
her energy has shifted.
Difference. That they don't know the difference. So, you know, tell me, you have 2 books being released in July.
Yes.
You want to talk to us about that?
I sure will. And I apologize for not having it sitting right here behind me. It's in this room somewhere. Oh, no, it's in the other room.
Well, you know, we could go to commercial a couple minutes early. You could go get the book and then.
It's not the book. It's just a picture of it, but I wanted to show you anyway.
well, while she's getting ready to do that, I got a question for you, Jodi, and you probably know the answer to this because you have birds. I did read that birds sing at a frequency that helps plants grow. Do you know if they also are singing at that healing frequency? The reason why when you listen to a bird's song, it has a healing quality. What do you know about the frequency of birds singing?
So this is what I don't know specifically about the frequency of birds singing, but this is what I'm going to tell you specifically about, like, our singing, which then means birds singing, which means, you know, like the noises that, let's say, a dolphin make. We're healing. You can do humming. Like I do humming on her. So may I? I'm gonna do humming on you. So I put on the bot on myself and then I do this and go. So I'm actually going straight into her heart. I can take that hum and go straight into my heart. All this to say that the frequency of music that you and I listen to, whether it's in church or not, you know, let's say it's the Beatles, it's, you know, Aretha Franklin, Ted Nugent, whoever, all that music is tuned to the frequency of 440. And 440 is causing disharmony in the frontal lobe. Now, do you guys like, what do they call it when people are singing, just acapella?
Acapella, yeah.
How do you guys like that? Do you like it typically?
Usually it's pretty good.
With the acapella group.
Yeah, because you can't tune it to 440, can you? It can only be the frequency of love.
Oh, so acapella is always on a higher frequency.
Yeah, because it's us, just like they're them.
Wow.
So can I say from science that they have a healing frequency? No. Can I say from experience? Amen, sister. Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I was at the post office and I'm here in Texas, and I went to the post office and I heard chicks, live chicks. Had to be hundreds of them, and I, because they were right below the. It was quiet in the room, but you could just hear. And I said,
wow,
those chicks, and everybody in line behind me burst out laughing because they were used to it. But I was so happy. I was like, And it just made me laugh. I was laughing uncontrollably. Then they started laughing at me because it was the joy of hearing for the first time in my life that many live chicks, and they were just the little noise that they made was so healing. It's like when you go into a pet store and you hear, "Roof, roof, roof, roof." It's like, oh, oh, oh. Even your bird. That's why I don't want to make the comment about your bird. Beautiful, all the colors. He was just showing out, showing his wing. He lifted his leg up so you could see the yellow. I'm talking about you. He lifted his leg up so you could see the yellow. And then while you were speaking, before you hummed, he was already. I'm in the conversation too. He was already there, just being what we were talking about at that moment. It's beautiful. I love creation, how God did it.
Yes. I just looked this up. It said many bird songs have frequency ranges between 1,000 hertz and 8,000 hertz, which places them in the sweet spot of human hearing. On the high end, many warblers, sparrows, waxwings, kinglets, and a number of other birds produce sounds that reach 8,000 hertz and beyond. Wow, that is high. And it says, of course,
yeah, that is high.
the sound of birds has been used to heal and calm people for thousands of years. So it even with the they say the Himalayan hanging bowls used in Asia during prayer and meditation, they tune to the sound of birds singing. Wow. So I guess birds, like you say, creation, the science, the creator's given us all the science that
Have you ever woken up in the morning and you heard outside your window?
Yes.
And you're like, oh, the sun is shining and the birds are tweeting, they're singing to me. Or is it just me? Because I do that.
Yeah, I feel like they're singing to me. And it's interesting that they're showing us the healing power of sound.
Yes.
So, you know, what Jodi's talking about with the baud, it makes so much sense because it's a vibration.
It is a vibration.
And when you change your vibration, physiologically things change, your mood changes, and then the body chemistry changes. So it's all connected. And it makes.
Have you seen the documentary and the study of water where they have the water there and they'll play sound?
Yeah.
They'll speak love. They'll say the word love.
Yeah.
And it's a picture.
Yes.
Because that vibration, even from your own voice.
Yeah.
And you can get the $500 for the bot. There is sound in your own voice. We were created with it on the inside. When you do those affirmations, when you sing your worship, when you sing those positive messages, or even if you just can't, I don't feel like singing, you put your bot on and you just listen, and it can lift your spirit. It can lift your energy.
Oh yeah. I had a friend who was suffering from throat cancer, and I told him stop cursing, and instead his beautiful singing voice, I said start singing hymns, and yeah.
Are we going to commercials, Susan?
No. So two things. So, well, we do need to go to commercial, but it says one, Zelda Robinson. She's our Monday morning host, stress relief coach. She also has the Higher Learning Network TV show. She says, greetings, beautiful teachers. Can you share where to find types of frequencies that do different things for the body and mind? So if anybody wants to know that, they can email me at Jodi@SusonEssentials.com. And I'll put that in, and I'll send you what I have. I've really just done research, basically done that research myself. But this is so it says 20-minute free consult. But just email Jodi@SusonEssentials.com. I'll leave that rolling for a minute. And then when we come back, I'm going to run a
setting up our school.
Here says the ultimate test, 440 hertz versus 432 hertz. Really interesting. So I'm going to put the link in the thread so that people can take the test themselves. And it's probably, I don't know how long it is. It's probably a couple minutes, and I'm not going to run the whole thing, but I'm going to kind of give you an idea about, how you can start making discernment and distinctions between what you're hearing and how you feel in your heart. And really, if we can focus on being heart-centered, like if you're feeling off when you say something, best it not come out of your mouth.
Ooh.
Really?
Yeah, that's your
It's like-
internal guidance system telling you.
Yeah.
Bring your frequency down. Don't say it. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me run to commercial real quick here. So I think I'm on the third spot, right? The
Right.
EDU spot 2. Okay. Let me do that one
Our
first.
kids are the future and should not be left behind. One person should not decide what is the best for our 77 communities. Politicians must work together for our kids' best interests. They deserve a safe education with resources that meet every student need. Let's rebuild and restore Chicago. Vote for me for mayor of Chicago. I'm Dr. Willie Wilson, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Willie Wilson for mayor.
Okay. And then I'm going to run the quick commercial, and I'm also going to share after that because I have 2 products onboarding in the next weeks to Quick. Quick is an online purchasing platform just like Amazon. The difference is every time you buy something and you share that something, you actually get paid when somebody else buys it. You may never have to buy it again. It may be that you buy, iodine drops or something, or maybe you buy, a marker, whatever. But once you share that link forever and ever, you get paid every time someone else buys it. So let's just talk about that. I'll show you that real quick.
Welcome to Quick Click, where customers can buy, share, and earn. Meet Sam. Sam owns an e-commerce business that sells athletic shoes and running gear. Sam wants to increase her sales without increasing marketing spend, so she decides to list her products on Quick Click. On Quick Click, her loyal customers can get paid for sharing her products with their friends. Sam uploads her products to the marketplace, just like she would on Amazon or Shopify. Meet Laura. Laura is in the market for a new pair of shoes and comes across Sam's brand on the Quick Click marketplace. Laura is able to purchase the shoes and check out like she would on any other e-commerce site. After purchasing, Laura receives a unique Quick link that she can share with friends to begin earning Quick Cash. Her friend Jessica opens Laura's Quick link on her phone and purchases the pair of shoes. Because Jessica purchases using Laura's Quick link, Laura receives Quick Cash in her account. After purchasing, Jessica can now share her own Quick link and begin earning Quick Cash as well. But Quick Click is more than just your typical referral or affiliate platform. Quick Click rewards customers for sales they directly and indirectly influence. So, for every sale Jessica's new Quick link makes, Laura will earn additional Quick Cash as well, making the potential for earning exponential. Laura and Jessica can transfer their Quick Cash balance to their bank account at any time, or can even use Quick Cash to make additional purchases in the app. Meanwhile, Sam can just watch as the sales roll in. Best of all, she doesn't have to worry about costs, since she is only spending marketing dollars when actual purchases are made. Start buying, sharing, and earning today at QuickClick.com.
So Quick is a platform. You can make purchases, and when you share what you've purchased, you get paid. So I am onboarding Altera right now. I've been representing Altera for many years. What is Altera? We neutralize the impact of electromagnetic frequencies. You plug it into your house and you forget about it. Covers 5,000 square feet. You plug it, one for the car, plug it into your car, forget about it. And then the other one, these little discs, I apply it to my phone and my computer and my iPad. The cool thing is when you get a new phone, you peel it off and you put it on the next phone. Just that easy. And they're cost effective. One, like these are $36. And this is $80. So they're all going to be on, you can buy them from me, but you can also just go to Quick once we onboard them. And then every time you buy it, you or you share what you bought, you get paid. So like Tammara's book, right? Tammara, you would list your book on Quick, right? And when someone shares your book and the link that they use to buy your book, they get a small fee, whatever you agree to pay them.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. And so, so now this is like really what they're calling the new age of social selling, right?
Okay.
So you don't have to buy $100 a month or $200 a month to be in an MLM. You just buy your toilet paper or your pens or your book or your neutralizers or whatever you're buying, your coffee cup or whatever, and it gets shipped to your door and you like it and you share it. You share the stuff you like now.
Yeah, you do for free.
Right? But you're not getting paid for it.
Yeah.
So to me, I'm like, this is what I'm doing. So now talk about your book.
Well, I hope that you can see them.
I can.
You can't?
Can.
You can? Okay. It's called My Beautiful Life Beyond. No, it's not. It's called Guide to the Game.
Guide to the Game. Okay.
Guide to the Game. If I had known then what I know now, there's a college edition, and there is the adult edition, and the college edition is just for college age young women. And I would stretch to say even high school age girls.
Okay.
Because it's packed with information that lets them know what to do when you're in college, what not to do. It talks about relationships, signs that predators use to draw you in.
Good.
Yeah, sex trafficking is a big thing. And so a lot of girls get wrapped up. So I teach them that your ear is the gate to your heart. You have to understand what you're hearing a man say, because he'll say, hey, I've been looking for someone like you all my life. I've been wanting to, settle down. I've been thinking I want to settle down and I want to get married and have kids. Kind of not ready to have a serious relationship right now, but you have everything that I want because you're in college, you're getting your degree, we're both studying the same thing. And she's like, oh my goodness. But she didn't hear what that ice cream in the middle of that sandwich. Instead, I'm not ready for
a serious relationship right now.
But so then after the game is played, he'll go back to that and say, well, I told you in the beginning I wasn't ready for a relationship.
So you've been strung along by somebody who really was not.
That's masterful.
Well, I mean, it's even, can I go
love bombing?
So when I was in college, first of all, I've always been a very wise soul, right? And meaning that some man could give me a line and I'd look at him like, are you crazy? Right. And my husband is such an amazing soul. Like when I started telling him some of the things that I heard in college and high school, he was like flabbergasted because he's like,
yeah,
because there's guys who don't even think this way.
But those are the things that we have to tell the young girls. They don't know the roadblocks. 1 out of every 5 college students are sexually assaulted because of this.
Yes.
They are. When I was sexually assaulted, I wasn't in college. I was 44 years old. I grew up in church. And there was a migration of people from California, from New York, Chicago, all these big cities to Atlanta. Okay, so I was not aware of the games that they were playing. It was just like going over my head. He literally said, oh, this is like taking candy from a baby. I was like, what are you talking about? Oh, nothing. I realized later he was talking about me. He was talking about
so innocent.
Innocence. Yeah. So in that book with the young ladies, and they're in that innocent stage, even the difference, how to treat your boyfriend like a boyfriend and not a husband. Nowadays they treat their boyfriends like they're their husband.
Right. Do everything for them and all that.
This is how you treat a husband. This is how you treat a boyfriend.
Difference.
Rules of the frat party. This is what you wear. This is what you don't wear. This is who you go with. This is what you drink, what you don't drink. These are the things that you do. Because I've been that Uber driver. Because in the midst of my trauma, I was being stalked. So I started driving Uber because I couldn't keep a job because he kept sending people to every job I had to sabotage me. So I started driving Uber, and I found myself picking up college students, and they would stick a young girl in the back of my car, and I'd get to her house, and she would wake up from being so drunk and say, I don't live here. I said, where do you live? I don't know. So now I got to go on her purse and get her ID. If her ID is not there, I got to call the last person on her cell phone and say, hey, are you Sarah's friend? Yeah. Where does she live? I'm the Uber driver. Now, mind you, the ride on the app is over. It's over. So Uber sees you took her home
to her destination.
I'm a man and I'm a predator. And some young girls, their friends may have stuck them in the car because they're like, I don't know why she's acting like this. She's being so sexually promiscuous. So they feel good about putting her in the car with men. But what if they do? Because somebody's giving her an ecstasy pill, see? They send her some ecstasy. So now she's hunching the seat and they're trying to figure out what's wrong with her. So now you put that in a car with a man who's a predator. And he says on his cell phone, you want to have sex with me? She says, yes, yes, yes. Now he has proof that she said, yes, yes, yes. He has sex with her when she comes out from under the drug-induced sexual desire because it's from what I've seen, it's unbearable. They
I forgot about that drug, ecstasy.
Yes. Their body is just craving it, right? And so then they do it and then they feel like I've been raped. And then the police says, this Uber driver raped this young girl. And he says, no, she said yes.
Wow.
That's not consent. When you're in talks, that's not consent. When you've been medicated against your consent, that's not consent at all.
He doesn't know she's medicated. I can tell you stories from male Uber drivers that were telling women no, grown women no. So they're hit on all the time.
So I'm going to respectfully tell you bullshit. Like they don't know that she's medicated. Like
if you have sex with somebody and they're not all there. I mean, come on, it's two different levels of participation.
Well, here's the thing: there's gateway drug. Okay. Do you know the difference between liquor drunk and beer drunk? When somebody is drunk from liquor as opposed to being drunk from liquor,
hard liquor,
or beer. Beer drunk is different from liquor drunk. So if you don't know, another example.
So what is the difference for those of us who know?
Okay, liquor drunk, and some people that drink are just like cracking up right now. I know they are.
Okay.
And I'm not a drinker. I've never been drunk before.
I don't drink. I drank probably twice, and I had both. But go ahead.
Okay, and that's not good. But okay. But just doing this job, I've learned that beer drunk is. It can be funny. It's talking. It's drowsy. It's a little wobbly in the walk. You know, it's not out of your mind. It's just drunk. Liquor drunk is throw up. I can't talk. It's pass out. Liquor does a whole thing because liquor has the spirits in it. So you can, spirit, right? It has spirits. They call it
alcohol poisoning and die. Actually, people have died.
You can die from that.
Okay, guys, I just want to say that she is spot on. So 1981, I'm in college, and they have a punch bowl, and I'm thinking it's flipping punch, right? And I don't drink, and you're right, Tammara. I was like, what I call praying to the porcelain god. Okay. Right. So wait. Now with beer, you're right, but beer does something else. In addition to making you kind of chatty and whatever, it's also laden with glyphosate. So you can't. Oh yeah, there's lots of studies on that crap. So not only you being intoxicated, and then some people have issues because it's made from barley and wheat, but then it's laden with glyphosate. So you're getting hit 3 times. This is why we don't drink in this household. I'm just going to tell you. It's crappy. Go ahead.
So I use that example to say date rape drug gives a different experience than ecstasy. The woman that is, because I had a woman in my car that was under the influence of a date rape drug. Because I've been under the influence of a date rape drug, I knew she was passing in and out of consciousness every time she tried to talk. And I said, well, and then I started asking questions. Well, what's her name? I don't know. What's your name? You don't know her name. I just picked you guys up from a bar. So then she comes to, and she says, Betty, and then he said, yeah, we're friends. And she's like, She was just about to say, no, we're not. So I'm acting stupid, like I don't know what's going on. At the same time, I'm dialing the hotel lobby. Hey, something's not right here. This woman passes out in and out of consciousness. I'm not gonna get into that story. In and out of consciousness. That's date rape drug. You have no control. You're trying. You're fighting to stay conscious. Ecstasy. Your private parts are doing this.
They what?
They're doing this.
So
for a man, he's erect.
Blood is pulsating through your body in that way.
He's frustrated, need to get relief. With a woman, her body is already doing this. She hasn't been touched or nothing, and it's just doing this. So I've seen a girl where she was with 3 guys, and I said, I think I'm gonna take her to her hotel. Oh no, we all came together. And she said, yeah, I came with them. She wasn't drunk, she wasn't drugged. She was very clear. No, I came with them. They're my friends. I'm safe with them. You're not safe, honey. They have given you something. My first experience with ecstasy was I saw it in action. I saw a whole room shift. All of them had taken, except for me and my friend, and we got out of there. But so now they had given. Apparently, they gave her too much. She's hunching the seat. She starts hunching the guy's leg. She's like, "Oh, hurry up, just get us there." Oh, I just need to. And maybe she.
This is a PG though. Just keep in mind. This
Okay,
is
yes. I'm not going deeper. But maybe she took it on purpose, thinking, "Oh yeah, I'm just gonna be this flirty girl because you guys are my friend. And I know you won't hurt me." Blah blah blah. But she must have taken too much because it was too much. She was conscious, but her body was going through this. You see? So there's a difference when I say he may have thought that she was just kind of drunk, but she had this ecstasy in her system as well.
So there was definitely some kind of chemical alteration.
Yes. And even so, what you're saying, you said bullshit, you're right. Some of it is, because some of them, they do know. Then they take advantage of the situation.
Goes to my whole mission in life, which is we don't need chemicals in our body for anything.
Right.
I think it's Corinthians 3:19. Your body is your temple.
Yes.
Treat it as such.
Yes.
Okay. No drugs, no alcohol, no drugs in your food supply, which means eat organic. And I'm being told to tell you this. If you think you can't afford organic, you can't afford the doctor bills that are coming along with it. She has something.
I know that's right.
Hold on, you have something to say. What do you want to say? I'm listening. Hold on. She wants me to tell that when she was born, she was given a vaccine, which we're getting rid of it now using a frequency. And she was so sick, her whole body was in the food dish, and she couldn't get her little head up off, like out of the food dish. And because she had this vaccine specifically for her breed. And we feed her organic food. I make her birdie bread. I give her nuts. I give her seeds, all organic. And she's saying that, and we used organic sweet potatoes, turmeric, echinacea, dandelion to reverse what happened to her when she was a baby. And so she's asking me to say, she says, you gotta feed your body the purest form of food that you can find, because your body doesn't recognize anything else. She's saying, it nearly killed me, mommy, like it nearly killed you. And so what else? She said that pretty much covers it.
So if people have been, if they have been exposed to a drug, a mind-altering, body chemistry-altering drug, they need to detox. They need to detox even after it wears off, I would say. And
oh yeah,
and for those of us who don't know anything, because a lot of us, we may have sheltered our children, not taught them anything. They don't know what it feels like to be drunk or high. So if someone drugs a drink, and when they go to a party, they won't know that that's what happened because they don't know what it feels like. And I know I have a lot of friends who shelter their children, maybe, raised them with, very strong religion and all of that. So they don't know what it feels like to be drugged or to be high and
Exactly.
be in a position of vulnerability where someone can abuse you because you're not in your right mind.
Right.
So I definitely highly recommend your book.
Yeah, absolutely.
For people to understand.
And I would say to parents this. Your child, if you don't know, they definitely don't know. Because I was drugged, and he kept telling me I was drunk. And I was like, I've never been drunk before in my life as I was passing out. I'm not drunk. I've never been drunk as I was passing out.
As you're passing out.
And when this book talks about the games that men play and the cycles that go through, it teaches them to hear it. Like I said, 1 out of 5 college students, parents, are sexually assaulted, and that's just the ones that tell us,
right?
Not the ones that don't. They feel shame, like I should have known. I was valedictorian. I was salutatorian. I know better. My parents taught me better, and they want to keep the secret. I've had grown women to lean up to me and say, "Thank you," as their husband was getting out of the car. Thank you so much for doing this.
And here's the thing.
That means that her husband doesn't even know that she was raped.
Right. And she's ashamed, and she feels like that could affect her relationship if he knew, because he might blame her. Or what is
exactly? And she's crying, and she's in that moment, and she sucks it up, and she gets out of the car and go in the house like nothing happened. Thus, we have the other book.
You're valedictorian. That's an IQ. That's a high IQ. That does not.
They're kids. They think they're smarter than the world when they get that award.
Right.
Yeah, emotional intelligence. My father taught me since I was a child, like what to do and what not to do. Like,
everybody doesn't get that though, Susan. Everybody doesn't have that. Everybody doesn't have your dad in their life.
I know that.
Yeah,
I am clear. So they need to buy your book.
So here's part 2. This is the one for adult women. It's Guide to the Game. If I had known then what I know now, the game player is a narcissistic predator.
Ooh.
Most women don't know what narcissism is and who narcissistic people are. And this is the man that will say, hey, because I did my research. Yeah, I'm a pimp. I'm a pimp. And y'all think I'm trying to get her sex and I'm trying to get her money? I ain't trying to get that. I'm trying to get her mind. Because if I get her mind, I can have her sex. I can have her money. I can have her house, her car, her children, her so-and-so and so. And because I was stuck at children. I said, did he say her children? Her retirement, I can have her everything. But wait a minute, he said I can have her children.
But all
I need is got 2 minutes to close up. So we so if there's anything,
let me wrap it up.
Because I actually have a meeting I'm going to.
Okay, I'll wrap this up in 30 seconds. So this book speaks to women who have been divorced, or you're getting back into the dating game and you don't know what the new game is. And you keep dating the same man with a different name. I told God one day, don't let me out of this relationship until I figure this out. I keep saying dating the same man with a different name, the same abusive man with a different name. Don't let me out until I get it. Those stories are in this book. And it asks you the question, did you see it? And then it gives you room to write what you saw. And then I tell you what the game was. In the back of both, this is the first edition, a special edition. And in the back of each of these books, I left the workbook.
And what's the website people can go to?
Yeah. So how do people, let's talk about how people, because we got to end the show. So how do people get, or do you want to tag me when it launches? It launches in July.
I will definitely tag you when it launches, but they can also go to my website. It is www.beyondmetoo.info.
Great. Can you put that in the private chat and I'll put it in the comments?
Seconds.
Beyondmetoo.info. Beyond Me Too. Wow.
So all you have to do, if you put it in the private chat, type it there. Thank you.
YONDMETOO.INFO.
So I'm putting this in the thread. And so if you want to connect with Tammara, that's how you do that.
And if you have college students, we have a college tour coming up this fall. We're going from college to college to college, spreading the word of sexual assault, giving them, empowering our girls and our boys, because boys are being raped now too, empowering them.
Well, that's what I wanted to say. This is not just to girls. This is to boys too. So,
yes.
Anyways, we're so grateful to have you on the show.
Thank you.
And you're a beacon of light. And we're grateful that you are sharing your story, using your story to help others on their path. I highly recommend that you connect with Tammara, www.beyondmetoo.info. And
let the healing begin.
Right? So
God, you keep talking.
We're good. We're good. Naima, thank you.
All right.
So much for joining us on the show today. I always love it when you are joining us with our guests. You're such a bright light and you're full of wisdom. I don't know what else I'm supposed to say to that, because your wisdom is beyond beyond me too right now.
Well, thank God for the experience that gives wisdom. Sometimes it's painful, but it's necessary to learn the lessons.
Yeah, I mean, all day. So I'm going to run the ending, and then and your ending. Actually, how do I do this? At the our ending for Blog Talk.
Yeah, it's at the top. It says
there we go.
Goodbye ending. Thank you, ending.
So, and we're just grateful for everybody tuning in today. If you want to, and I'll just say this while we're doing the ending.
You can hear every show in the archive.
Next
www.blogtalkradio.com
week is the 21st. Is that right?
Right. Let me see.
Okay, yeah. So next week we have Dr. Steven Spencer. We're doing distant healings. He's an amazing doctor. He's done amazing work for me and for my husband and for many of my friends. He'll be tuning in. We'll be offering that. The 28th, we have Don Sandell, Positive Mind Shift. He's authored a book. I've known him for years. He talks about the science behind behind positivity. The week after that, we have Michelle Froge, and she will be speaking about. We'll be doing the free intuitive readings. We have a really strong lineup coming. We like to think that we always do, just like we did today. And we're here to serve. So if there's a way for us to serve you, to help you or you want to be on the show because you think that you've got something we need to hear, give me a call. Happy to hear what you have to say and why you think you need to be on this show. The number is 847-738-0242. You can email me at jodi@susonessentials.com, or you can instant message me on any of the platforms that we're on. But we would love to invite you to listen, invite you to engage, and invite you to be on the show. God bless everybody. And we're still looks like, hold on. I'm talking over Blog Talk. I apologize, but we're going to listen to the rest of this. This is my favorite part.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you. And may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessing.